Welcome back to another episode of Right on Focus.
You know what? We are back, and just to let everyone know, because we've been talking a lot about it on social media, Nadine and I have a new show coming up. It's called The Gene Ho Show, but just want to let everyone know that Right on Focus is going nowhere. The new show is actually a lifestyle show. It's going to follow Nadine and I and our children around on tour. And we just got back on tour and we got called back because of the coronavirus. But we have some interesting footage. Nadine, who did we run into?
In Arizona, we sat with Sheriff Joe Arpaio, America's toughest, right?
Toughest sheriff. He'll make you wear pink underwear if you're not careful.
Yeah.
This is the guy that...
Which is fine with me. I'm cool with that.
This is the guy that was the toughest sheriff at the time in Arizona. He was known for his tough antics, putting prisoners in pink underwear and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about that, and we're also going to have a segment on our mean tweets. So we will be right back on Right on Focus.
So we were in Arizona, and we sat down with Joe Arpaio.
Yeah, see, Nadine has a problem with me because I can't pronounce Arpaio.
No fire.
So imagine me going right to him and not actually knowing how to pronounce his name. But if you remember, Joe Arpaio, did I say it right? No. Okay.
Arpaio.
He was known as the world's toughest sheriff, and he was the type of guy that would take the prisoners in Arizona and make them wear pink, just a tough guy.
I'll be honest, Gene was unbelievably intimidated.
So
I like crying a little bit, I think.
So we had a chance to sit down with him. As you might have known, Nadine and I have been on book tour for my book Trumpography, but we started in California, made our way to Las Vegas and then Arizona, and we were making our way back to the East Coast before this coronavirus called us back in. So we are back here in Myrtle Beach, but we had a chance to talk with Sheriff Joe. Nadine, what'd you think of him?
Well, I think that the crew that we were with was, you as well, very intimidated. But for me, he reminds me a lot of my grandpa. And when growing up with my grandfather, he, on the outside, everyone thought he was just the scariest, most intimidating guy too. Gruff voice, very stern, but he was my grandpa. And so that's just kind of how I thought of Joe. He didn't scare me. I just knew he was somebody's grandpa.
We actually sat down at first. It was Nadine and I that sat down with him and did the interview. And that part will show on our premium content because we did that interview and it was kind of stiff, at least on my behalf. And then we said, you know what? Evidently, Nadine's making this guy feel really comfortable. So Nadine had an interview and a sit-down interview with him, and it came out really good. But the interesting thing about it, I believe it was Joe that was the first person that investigated Obama's birth certificate, correct?
I'm not sure if he was the first to investigate it per se, but by nature, he's an inquisitive person. And yes, he has put a lot of time and energy and effort into the birther issue. And interestingly enough, he led us into his...
private archives.
Yeah.
So we got
the locked room in the back. That's...
anyway.
Lots of Doziers. Is that what they are?
Dossiers or Dozier? She doesn't.
Lots of cardboard boxes with a ton of information stacked.
Locked up.
Yeah.
And he told us not to take pictures of it. We have some footage of his office. It's neat. Mostly for me, mostly it's his reputation. And seriously, the crew we were there with the Trump train bus was there with us and a couple other friends. And we went there, and I'll be honest, it was pretty intimidating. Nadine got his phone number and just called him up and said, hey, we would like to come see you. And then next thing we know, we're at his office. But
not intimidating.
He's a great guy, but it really was for me. He's not a very big man, but his presence is
big.
Yeah. So anyway, we sat down and talked with him. We talked with him about Trump. He's friends with Trump and big supporter of Trump. And he is going to come out with some other stuff in the future. I believe he's going to come out with another book. And he is running for election for sheriff.
Yes.
He was gone for a while, and now he's back. before we begin the interview, I just have to say, like, when I met him, I was very intimidated, but I like the guy. He's very kind, and he's one of those persons that he tells you where he's coming from, and then.
I think he was very honest too. There was I think a personal side to this interview that a lot of people will appreciate. So.
And he treated our family. My children were there too. He treated my family like his family. He let Cruz like sit behind his chair, and Cruz is still young. He doesn't really know about all these people that we meet.
He didn't recognize that perhaps sitting behind Joe Arpaio's gigantic desk and just rolling up in his rolly chair was maybe something you shouldn't have. And it was fine. It was good.
But it was good. So stay tuned. We'll be right back, and we'll have the interview that Nadine did with Sheriff Joe.
There was a time when I had my head in the sand. Then I found out that power players pass lies for truth and truth for lies, especially in areas of life and health. I used to stay quiet, and now I speak up. I red pill my family, I red pill my friends, and I support redpillliving.com. Red Pill Living has real health products that support longevity, vitality, and detoxification against the deep state attacks on your health. It's redpillliving.com. Wake up, stand up, speak up.
Hi all, we are back with Right on Focus with the amazing Sheriff Joe. And we just wanted to do a little bit more on follow-up with where we can see you here in the future. I know you've got a few books out. How can we keep up with you and what you've got going on?
Well, sometimes the only way to get a story out is through a book. You can't rely on the media, especially these days. My first two was 1996 and 2012. So maybe I have to utilize that system to get the real story out. And if I do write a book, believe me, it's going to be the real story, because I can't get Obama's birth certificate investigation that I've done in the last 7 years.
Right.
Nobody will touch that. So there's other ways to get the story out to the public.
Right. I understand, as we were talking earlier, one thing that you had mentioned in our conversation, and it was, I won't say specifically what the topic was, but it was something that you had said, I can't speak on it because I don't have the knowledge, the immediate knowledge of the topic that we were discussing. But you said, what I say, I can always prove. Everything that you're speaking on, you have documentation proven. When this man speaks, listen, because there's meat behind it.
Yeah, that's what scares everybody.
Right.
Because just by chance, in my whole life, I kept all the media, which I have tons of them, kept all my reports. I've been in law enforcement, 57 years? I have a lot of reports. So I'm really I do get concerned about writing things and go too far into conspiracy unless there really is a conspiracy.
Sure.
So I have documentation. So when they go after me, okay, read this, that I prepared 25 years ago.
Right.
And don't say it's fake, they're government documents.
In fact, it almost sounds to me like you are welcoming, that you would come after me. Let's talk about this.
I've been doing that for years, especially on this birth certificate.
Right.
Nobody will talk about it.
Won't even touch it.
When you talk about Donald Trump, I opened up and introduced him, one of the very few that took the stand.
Early on.
I say stand, the rally, took the stage, and nobody would get up there. I did. I never met the man. I think I got a little note a couple of years ago, being Sheriff Joe. He didn't know me. Had nothing to do with politics in a sense. So I introduced him. 3 things I said. I said, there's a silent majority out there. I hit a nerve. Everybody, they didn't stand up, they stand up anyway. But I got the biggest cheer. Still there. Then I said, we're born on the same day. Flag Day. Oh.
Really?
Then I said, you're going to be our next president. I guess I was right. Now, I've introduced him many times. And I've been the campaign honorary chairman for Bush, Mitt Romney, Rick Perry. So I know a little about hanging around guys running for president.
Right.
Not once has Donald Trump or his staff ever told me, say this, don't say that. So I had to bluff my way. I didn't know.
Sure.
But you know what? 95% of what I said and he believes in, so we're on the same highway. Personally, my wife watched Fox.
Okay.
Because she had cancer and she could see Donald Trump campaigning on Fox. And that helped her treatment and all that.
Yeah.
This is during the campaign, 2015.
16.
15,
Okay.
And 16.
Sure.
And I told him that. And he called my wife. He's called my wife several times to see how she's doing, even when he was president. You know what? He didn't need my wife to hook me. I was hooked with him from day one.
Right.
Other candidates' wives call me and want me to meet the husband and endorse. My answer is have him call me, but that's another. So he's called. He didn't have to call. Now, I got prime time at the Cleveland convention.
Okay.
Prime time, just before he talked.
Yeah.
They wanted me to say certain things. I threw the teleprompter in the garbage. And I brought out what he'd said about my wife, because he was taking heat on women and all that.
Right.
Crap. And I said, he didn't do this to get me to support him. He did this because he had a concern about my wife. Yeah. And he didn't know me that well. I never met the guy until that day when I introduced him. So the man's got a heart. I don't forget that. Right in this office, last year, NBC interviewed me and said, who is your hero? Is John McCain your hero? And I paused and I said, 4 months before, it just happened to be 4 months before, and they didn't know it, I discovered my hero. So I said 4 months ago, I woke up and I finally told my wife, I found my hero. And the report, she said the report, who's that? I said, Donald Trump. Now, everybody can have heroes. I'm not criticizing anybody. Me, I'm talking about me. That's the first time, the only time I ever named a hero. And I stick by that, and I'll tell you one thing, I'm with him to the bitter end, because I support him from the heart, not the political part, because you're high in the polls all at once, everybody loves, which I'm happy. I'm happy everybody has a right. Thank you, all you guys. I'm glad you're on the right team, regardless of what the reason. But mine come from the heart and for what he stands for. So I say that. Nobody's going to change my mind. So that's the way it is. And I stick by it. I'm the old-fashioned guy. When you shake hands, that should be your bond. Your word should be your bond. Now you need 1 million lawyers. Can't do anything anymore without being sued. And then they go after you. The U.S. government goes after people. And of course, I'm not going to talk about what they did to me on a Mickey Mouse contempt of court, same as a barking dog. But they go after you. So I just wanted to bring out how I feel personally about the president.
And I think America, that knowing what you know of this man, the toughest sheriff in America, says that Donald Trump is his hero. What more do you need? I mean, that's incredible. It really is. To look at the life and the history of Sheriff Joe, and for him to speak so highly of Donald Trump, I think that if there's ever a time to open your eyes, if you are still one of the few standing on the left, open your eyes, open your ears, and listen, because this is truth. This is truth. So thank you all for being with us today. Sheriff Joe, thank you so much for your
Thank you.
time. I really appreciate it.
My name is Gene Ho. I was Donald Trump's photographer from the earliest days of the campaign until the very last day. A journey of almost 2 years. Find out what Trump was really like behind the scenes. The stories and pictures will warm your heart and restore your trust in America and your faith in God. Read my new book, Trumpography, available now, and be inspired.
So we have a few more friends on social media.
It's okay. So I am tongue-tied here because so I tweeted my daughter Luna her homework. She is 8 years old, and in her assignment, it was pretty neat because she says this. There was a segment in her homework that says, "If you can meet a superhero, who would it be, and explain why?" And she just writes the simple word Trump. And so this was on the homework, and Nadine thought it was so cute. I thought it was so cute. So Nadine takes a picture of it. I take a picture and I tweeted it. And, by far, a lot of people thought it was cute. It went viral because it's cute. And, you're going to have people say like, "Oh, it's fake." Like, yeah, like we're going to fake my daughter's homework. And I said, listen, all her homework is in the same handwriting. But so it happened that way. But check out some of these tweets. And by the way, the interesting thing about it, on this I tagged Donald Trump, real Donald Trump, and my former boss, Dan Scavino. When I worked for the campaign, Dan Scavino was one of my bosses, if not my main boss in that. So I tagged them both, and so it became a very popular post.
Well, in addition, Juanita
yes.
retweeted it.
Juanita Broderick, who's a friend of ours, really good friends of Nadine, great lady. She retweeted it, so this just went viral. So should I actually say the word?
Oh yeah, you can bleep it out.
Okay.
Good to go.
All right, so like normally you would have stuff like talking about us, but so someone tweeted, "Your daughter sucks," and I'm like, this is an 8-year-old girl, and the thing is, we're posting it. I don't care. We've always blocked out. We're not here to.
Well, it's interesting because we have friends who are also vocal, and they really debated for a long time. Well, we have all spectrums. We have people who have children and won't publish their faces, won't put their names, don't even acknowledge that they are parents. That wasn't ever really an option for us because we've always been quite public with our positions, and we've always been out front. So it's unfortunately comes with the territory, but
we didn't, when we started all this stuff and we went on tour and the big book thing and then with Trump, it was never like, we never went from like not in the public eye to the public eye per se. We were photographers for a long time. So we like living our lives. We like showing off pictures of our children. We like having them around with us. They'll be in the new TV show that we're going to do, which is a lifestyle show, but like, we're just not going to cower in fear or whatever, but it's just amazing that people would write.
No, I wouldn't let someone's negativity control how I'm going to live my life. I think that you're going to have negative people, but that's on them. Yeah. I'm good.
Mostly it's sad that people will actually think that way. Here's another tweet on that same one, and I'll just say that we could bleep it out. But another post says, "Wow, what a piece of unfit parents." And so I hope the piece of was on us. I hope it wasn't on my daughter. But it's amazing. You have all these people that would say these sort of things that would not say these things to people in real life, but behind the keyboard. And it just shows you like what kind of people these are.
Say that 6 feet from my face, right? In the middle of this quarantine, come on.
So it's really interesting with that. But if you get a chance, follow us not only on this show, but on my Facebook. My personal Facebook is @GeneHoPersonal, and I post a lot of my stuff on that. On Twitter, I'm at GeneHoPhoto. And Nadine, where can most people follow you and follow what you do? And your Facebook is a little more personal, right?
I think so.
But-
I think so. I'm a pretty loud Facebooker. Twitter, I'm at Nadine Ho, Nadean Ho, and Facebook would be a little trickier. There's apparently another Nadine Ho. I know, weird, right? So Facebook is via my, well, the tagline is through my maiden name, but you can find me through Nadine Ho.
Okay, so you can check it out there. So if you have any negative things, just don't say it to the other Nadine Ho.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to mention is on Right on Focus, if you could please go to rightonfocus.com. Some of you may be watching this program right on that website. Others are watching this on Apple TV or Roku. But if you especially go to rightonfocus.com, if you scroll there, we have a lot of premium content. There's so much stuff. We have the other part of Joe Arpaio. Did I say it right? He's going to be so mad at me. Next time I see him, he's going to...
I don't think he's going to want to see you next time.
So you got to check it out. There's a lot of content there. Nadine posts a lot. I post a lot on that. For every one of these free shows that we have, there's probably like 5 other premium content. And some of the stuff is really good. When I was in Las Vegas and I performed at Deplorableluza, I believe the tickets were like $150 for the whole show. My portion of it is online at premium content. People could sign on. It's like $5 a month or something like that. But anyway, check it out. But I want to talk about the next episode we're going to have after this, because who did we run into in Las Vegas?
Yes, I am good friends with Jason Frank. Jason was, you'll remember Jason, he was the patriot at the Trump rally in Phoenix. I believe it was Phoenix.
Yeah, I believe so.
Who carried the veteran down the stairs. He was having a hard time getting to his seat, and Jason and another fellow physically carried him down the steps. And we'll run the clip for you, but he's just an amazing man.
Yeah.
He happens to live in Las Vegas, and so we sat down and did just a little impromptu interview with him.
And he's a great guy. And
he's awesome.
The thing was, Nadine was friends with him before all of this happened, so it was easy. He turned down a lot of mainstream media interviews, but he sat down with us.
Absolutely.
So it was really neat. So we'll have that on the next episode, but also want to share after the commercial. You'll see a picture of Nadine and Jason Frank, and it's just funny because when I was getting ready to take their picture, I had my phone on video, and it's just funny. Yeah. But anyway, we'll see you next time. After the commercial, we'll see a picture of Jason Frank, and then we'll see you on the next episode of Right on Focus.
You've been living in a dream world.
Wait, hold on my video. Hold on.